Welcome to your 45-minute Yogasage, self Yogasage practice. We'll do a little bit of yoga, a little bit of release on some of our tissues, myofascially, Swedish, and some Thai techniques in there as well. So it's a great practice if you're feeling a little bit sore at the end of a day, maybe you've been very active, or perhaps the opposite, maybe you've been very sedentary and you just want to get a little bit of flow through your tissues to allow you to prepare for sleep. It could also be really nice in the morning if you wake up feeling a bit achy. So let's get started right away. You'll need a yoga block. If you don't have one, no problem. You could use a rolled up towel, something that you have around the house. I'll always give you alternatives. So we're going to start in a constructive resting position. So lying on our backs, using our yoga block. And if you don't have a yoga block, you could use a nice tightly rolled up towel, a tea towel or a hand towel. And just find that little bump at the back of your head. It's called the occipital ridge. If you kind of feel around at the back of the skull there, you should find this little sort of bump. You want to place your little towel or your block on the middle level, just below that bump, and come to rest on your back. And then once you're settled on the back, find a position that feels comfortable for your low back. That might mean taking the feet wide, letting the knees knock together. It might mean recline butterfly, knees open, feet together, or legs stretched long. Just whatever allows you to settle here. Take your palms and rest them over your lower abdomen. Let the shoulders and elbows relax heavy. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Just greet your body with a few slower, deeper breaths there. In and out through your nose. On your inhale, feeling a sense of expansion underneath your palms. On your exhale, letting the weight of your skull drop heavy into your block or towel. Inhaling, just feeling the breath move a little bit deeper. Exhale, shoulder blades relax down. Then all together, let's breathe in through the nose. Pause on full. Out your nose, let it go. Inhale through the nostrils. Hold. Out the mouth. One more time, big breath in together. Nice big sigh this time. And as you return to simply allowing the breath breathe you, notice if the feeling at the back of your neck has shifted now that you're a little more settled in with a block or towel. And just feel for if you want to adjust your legs. I'm going to shift into supine butterfly for a little groin stretch. We'll be doing a little bit more over the block or towel. Okay, you can stay here or notice if it feels comfortable to adjust your block. Now that some of the neck has created a bit more length or opened up. And take a deep breath in its center. And as you exhale, roll your head over to the right as far as you can comfortably go. Okay, and then come back about halfway. And you should feel the block or towel pressing into sort of a denser ridge of muscle, fascia, tissue. Might even feel a bit tender. And then when you find that area that feels a little bit denser, maybe a bit tender, start to draw some little circles with your nose. Not even big circles, just little tiny circles, small in diameter. Just bringing a little bit of circulation to this area of the back of the skull where a lot of the muscles unite. You can get a little bit knotty, ropey in there. Good pause. Let the head be heavy. Nice big breath in and out. Okay, come back through center on your inhale. And then let your exhale drift your head over to the left. And then once you've gone all the way over, come back about halfway. And again, you should feel that there's an area that's just a little bit denser, maybe more resistant, ridgy. When you find that, start to make those little circles. Just bringing some hydration to some of these tissues that can get a little bit hypoxic. Letting the fluids flow. This can be really great if you tend to get a lot of headaches as well. And then find stillness there. Let the weight of that left side of your skull just drop into the block. No need to push or press. Take a nice big breath in and a long breath out. Come back to center. Pause. Just observe. Maybe there's a bit more space in the back of your neck. If your legs are open in butterfly, let the hands support you in drawing the knees together, stepping the feet a bit wider towards the long edges of your mat. Use one hand to untuck your block or your towel. Lay your head back down on the ground, or on your mat rather. And just observe any subtle sensation flowing through the neck, the head. And walk your feet in a little bit closer towards your seat, toes point away from you. Take your hands and place them on your thighs. And no, we're not setting up for core work. We're going to do a little traction for the lumbar spine because your neck and your low back mimic each other. So as we release tension through the neck, it's nice to check in with the low back as well. So placing the palms on the thighs, take a nice big breath in, keep the feet planted. And as you exhale, just a gentle pressing away of your thigh bones. See if you can keep the belly fairly relaxed, the neck and shoulders fairly relaxed. And it works best if you can kind of straighten the arms. And that just invites a little length through the lumbar spine. You might notice one side feels a little bit more tense than the other. It's like a self traction. If you get a lot of low back pain, this is a good one to do first thing in the morning. Nice big breath in together. And then exhale. Again, push the thigh bones away, opening up space in the lumbar spine and the pelvis. Keeping the upper body fairly relaxed here. Eyes soft, maybe even closed. And then gently let that go. Take your right arm, reach it overhead, and just slowly tip onto your right side. Find a fetal shape there. See if you can keep your neck relaxed as your left palm lands in front of your chest and you slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seat. So, comfortable seat might mean crossed legs, it might mean sitting on your block or legs extended. I'll be doing a little bit more neck work here. So, taking the right hand and reaching it out towards the right side of the mat, coming onto the fingertips, lengthen up through both sides of your spine. And then gently lower left ear towards left shoulder. And notice that sometimes when you do that, the left shoulder wants to kind of creep up towards that left ear, so let it be heavy. Maybe you're feeling a lot already in the right side of your neck. You can stay there. If you want a little bit more, take your left hand, place it on the right side of your head, and create a gentle pull. So you're not jamming down, it's creating a little traction through right upper traps, right scalenes. Jaw stays relaxed, eyes soft. And just breathe there. And the purpose of reaching your right fingertips away, sometimes I even crawl them further away as I settle in, is to let that right shoulder descend away from the right ear. So you're opening up the space between right shoulder, right ear. And you might feel free to explore here a little bit by drawing the chin slightly down or slightly up. Notice if you get a nice release in some of those denser tissues around the side of the neck when you do that. And keep your head tilted to the left. Use your left hand to support the left side of your face so your neck stays relaxed. And then gently bring your head back up to center. Just pausing for a moment there, letting the hands rest on the thighs. Observe what you feel through that right side. Then we're going to do a little self myofascial release for the anterior scalene on that left side. It gets a little bit into the pecs as well. So you're going to use your left hand just below your collarbone on the right side. And instead of pushing down, just think like a flat hand, like you want to hold the tissues in place, almost like sticky hands. Remember those things you got in the 25-cent machines? You want to make a sticky hand with your left hand. Place it right underneath that right collarbone. So there's a little bit of pressure in and down, like you want to drag the hand down without actually moving it. Okay, keep your palm there and take a breath in, lift your head up, and then over to the left. And you should feel a little bit of a pull. Sometimes I even place my right hand on top. It's that dragging down sensation as opposed to pushing down. And you should feel a little bit of a fascial pull through some of those neck muscles in the front. Might even go up into your jaw. Sometimes you can feel it up into your head. Oof. Just working into some of those connective tissues that can get a little bit grippy around the neck, especially if you've been stressed out. A little bit clenchy around the jaw. Nice big belly breaths. Anytime you want to close your eyes and go inside, it's a good time. And what we're looking for is called creep. So it's an idea that the tissue slowly release with time, with awareness, and with a gentle pressure. No need to push really hard. More of a drag. Slowly bring your head back to center. We're going to do one more kind of quick and dirty release of the upper traps, an area that for most of us was a lot of tension. So I'll use my left hand again to kind of grab a hold of just above my right collarbone, just above my right shoulder blade. There's all that dense tissue. You know, if you kind of squeeze there, an area that a massage therapist would go to probably right away. So squeeze down with your palm, or you can use your fingertips, whatever's more comfortable for you. But bring your right ear towards the right shoulder, squeeze nice and tight, and then come up through center, left ear to left shoulder. Ooh, that gets pretty deep. If you're feeling like headachy, a lot of our headaches, 80% come from muscle tension around the neck. This is a really good one to get into that sort of dense tissue there. And then come back up, right ear to right shoulder. Squeeze a little bit higher. So move your left hand more towards the center of that density tissue. And then come up, left ear, left shoulder. Whew. Yeah. This one you don't have to hold for long. As I said, it's kind of quick and dirty. Move the hand a little bit higher towards the tip of the shoulder blade, coming up towards the neck there. Right ear to right shoulder. And then up through center and tilt away. Now, if you're feeling really tight, you could do that a few times, but that gets a nice amount of blood flow up through that right side of the neck. And pause here. Just observe energetically what you're feeling in the right side of your neck. Maybe it feels more spacious. Maybe you feel a warmth, a lightness. Maybe you're just glad that's over. Then change the cross of your legs to balance out the hips. And we'll switch sides. So left fingertips reach out towards the floor. Take a breath and lengthen. And then right ear to right shoulder. Nice big belly breath, right shoulder heavy, jaw relaxed, maybe eyes closed in. You could stay with that or use that right hand to create a little bit of traction by gently pulling the left side a little longer. And then I like to sort of, as I settle in, create my left fingertips further away. As the space opens, I'm just gently snuggling into it. And again, there's no single way to do anything. So if it feels like there's more opening that would take place if you draw the chin down a bit or lift it up a bit, explore, but exploring for the purpose of creating space. And if you're in a really great space, it's totally cool to just stay there and enjoy. And then let your breath do some of the work, almost like you're using your breath to kind of massage into the left side of the neck, into the jaw. There's a lot of strength that comes from pushing forward, but there's a lot of strength that can come from just softening and letting the shape meet us wherever we are. A lot of opening and connection can arise from it. Okay. Let your right hand drop down towards the right side of the face, just cradling it as you lift the head back up to center. Neck stays relaxed. Pause. Hands to thighs. Observe. Such a big part of our practice is just noticing, just paying attention. And then that myofascial release for anterior scalenes. You're taking a flat right palm, okay? And instead of pushing into your body, you're imagining you're dragging it down. Find right underneath your left collarbone and place the palm there nice and flat. You can use your left hand on top to help guide it. Bring your head to center, take a breath in, lift the chin, and then over towards the right side. And it's like you're dragging your hand down towards your belly, but without actually letting it move. So you're just holding onto the tissues like that sticky palm. You can play around with the placement here a bit. If you're a clencher, you'll probably feel this a lot. Looking for that creep when the tissues start to naturally drag or slide because you're getting a little bit of hydration between the layers of connective tissue. Gently bring your head back up to center. Last one was that quick and dirty upper trap squeeze using your right fingertips or the palm. Find sort of the edge of the collarbone, the edge of your shoulder blade, and you're just kind of squeezing the tissue right in between those spaces. So bring left ear to left shoulder, give a nice tight squeeze up through center, and then right ear to right shoulder. This one's a bit faster. Slide the palm a little bit closer towards the head, come back up to center, left ear, left shoulder, squeeze, and then up through center and over to the right. One more time. Hand a little bit closer towards the base of the neck there, squeezing that tissue, bringing left ear, approximating it, and then come up through center and tip away. Good. And then come back up through center, pause, let your palm shine upward, inviting in this energy of a little bit more space between our head, our thinking mind, and our heart. Our neck is kind of like that super highway between the two. So from here, I'm going to tip through one side, set it up to do a little bit of work at the other end of the body. So we're working from top and bottom towards the center. So for here, we're going to tuck our toes under for a toe stretch. Sometimes the pinky toes need a little bit of assistance with that. And sitting your thumb back towards your heels. If that's too much, you could use a block or two under your seat on any level. It kind of eases some of the pressure out of the feet. You could also bring your hands forward. Mm, Those of you who don't have a block, you could use a blanket or that rolled up towel. And from here, we'll do just a tiny bit more neck release because this is narrow for a lot of people. That's quite tight. So keeping the toes tucked under, gonna lace up the hands at the back of the skull and just let the weight of the arms drag the chin towards the chest. And then the arms stay the same. You're just gonna rotate your head over towards the left, almost like you're sniffing your left armpit there. Notice the little pull through the left side. Come back through center and rotate chin over towards the right armpit. Maybe hear a little cracks and creaks. And then just continue to move at a pace that feels good. So it's like your elbows are slowly draping down as you rotate, but not from moving your arms. It's from moving the head, and the arms just kind of follow. Getting into the back of the neck, the upper shoulder blades. It's a nice distraction for what's happening in our toes. Next time the chin comes to center, pause. Slide the hands onto the thighs. Slowly lean forward, untuck your toes. Gently tap the tops of your feet into the mat, releasing there. Okay. So a little bit of space in the feet, a little bit of space around our neck. Let's come down onto our sides and do a little bit more work into the backs of the shoulders and into the side body, into the lats, some of the rotator cuff muscles. So you'll come onto your side. You can stack the knees, and you don't need to have a block. I like to use the block to massage, but if you don't have a block, then you'll just come down onto your right forearm and fingertips point away from you and just let the shoulder drop, the side ribs drop rather, and the shoulder come right up towards your ear. So it's kind of like you're watching TV, just hanging out on your side body. You should feel a nice pull of the tissues in that right side. Now, if you do have a block and you want to create a little bit of self compression for some of those rotator cuff muscles as well as your lats, you're going to take your block on the middle height and place it just below kind of the armpit. And you should sort of feel the shoulder blade in there. You might have to take the elbow a little bit wider, kind of catching the edge of the shoulder blade, and the other edge is just above the armpit. I like to use my hand to support my head here. You might have to play around with the placement of it. It should feel slightly uncomfortable, but it shouldn't feel too painful. For the ladies, because there's a lot of breast tissue in that area, it might feel a bit pinchy, so you might have to adjust or place a towel on top of your block. If it hurts, just skip the block, come onto the forearm, and just get that nice pull of all the tissues in the side body. You might even feel this down into your lower waist on the right side as you pin and kind of stretch the tissues. Okay. And then to get that little bit of a massage, you can kind of rock forward a bit. Notice how that feels. Rock back a bit. You might get a little bit more of a sensation of pull or tenderness as you rock back, kind of pinning the shoulder blade against the block. And you have your teres major and minor, some of those stability muscles around the shoulder that get a nice little compression as you lean back. So you might find a really good place and just hang out there, or you might bring a little bit of movement forward and back. You decide what works for you. And just checking in with your breath, make sure it's supporting you. And if not, just checking in with yourself what needs to adjust so that you can be in unison with your breath, so that you can be inviting your body to relax. you're using the block, come back up onto your forearm. Take the block out of the way for now. And we'll take that right arm and weave it in front of us, palm facing up. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Left arm reaches up towards the sky and then open up into a nice big twist. And feel free to adjust here. Come into a twist that supports you, relaxing into it. Now, that might mean using a block or your towel between your thighs. It might mean deepening the twist. So you can stay right here, or if you'd like to get into your left outer hip and IT band, take that left leg and stretch it out in front of you. Maybe your right fingertips grab hold of your foot or your big toe. Feeling a sense of heaviness through left shoulder, left arm. Again, you can stay right there. If you want to take this into a bound twist, cat pulling its tail, you could bend your bottom leg, that's your right leg. Use your left hand to reach down, grab a hold of the foot, and then roll your left side of your chest back. And if either one of those variations creates tension for you, feel free to skip and come back to a twist that feels really supportive in your body. Just checking back in, jaw soft, eyes soft, breath really fluid, easy. When we twist, it is like a massage for not just the muscles along the length of the spine, but creates a compression of those intervertebral discs, those little discs in between the joints of the spine that kind of work as shock absorbers. So when we compress them, when we release, it's like all this circulation, this fluid flows in, helping to create sort of little plump discs that work really well to support the spine, as well as more synovial fluid to lubricate the joints of the spine. Take a nice big breath in here and let it go. Okay. If you have a hold of that bottom leg, gently release that first. Release the grip of your top leg. And slowly, once again, stack the knees. And gently make your way onto your back, taking the feet wide, knees together, just observing whatever you feel through that right side of your body, all the way from the armpit, maybe down into the pelvis. And we'll set up for the second side, so you're welcome to just roll over. I'm going to flip around here. And again, you're coming onto left side body. You can use the block or you can skip it. I like to use the block to create a little self massage for my lats and for some of those muscles around the shoulder blade. So again, you're lining the block up so it kind of gently presses into your shoulder blade. And the edge that's furthest away from you, it's on the second level, is kind of just either in the armpit or like the middle of the armpit. If you have a bigger block, it might come more towards the front of the armpit. Just so that you're not feeling uncomfortable or you're not feeling in pain, there's a slight maybe discomfort or pressure. I like to support my head with my hand. Right hand can come in front for support as well. And then imagine you're sort of a Greek god just lying on your side. Someone could be feeding you grapes. I'm just lounging here, letting the rib cage drop down, the head be heavy in the hand. You can stay with that or explore tipping back a bit and rocking forward. And you might find a spot that for you particularly feels a little bit resistant every time. And then you could just hang out there. Let your breath do the work, gravity. Sometimes it can help to visualize some space in there. Letting the inhale create expansion. The exhale melt tension. Just tracking sensation, perhaps feeling it not just around the shoulder, but maybe in the tissues of the low back on that left side. Okay, take one more big breath in here. Let it go. Okay. So if you've got the block, you can come up onto the forearm, move the block to the side, and then start to stretch that left arm in front of you. Palm faces up, lower onto left shoulder, draw the knees in. Right arm reaches up and then away for that spinal twist. And then make this twist feel good in your body. If that means supporting yourself, support yourself. If that means changing or deepening it, then go ahead and do that. So for me, I'm going to extend that top leg out, getting into my right IT band and outer hip. You can hold on to the leg, maybe the foot, the toes, letting the right hip roll down and away. Letting my right shoulder be heavy. You can stay with that. Bend the bottom leg, the left leg, and reach down with your right hand. Grab a hold of the foot or the toes. Take a bind, capitals sits down. And just checking in. Does your breath support you? Maybe even to your thoughts about the shape support you. Find a position that's comfortable for your neck. That could mean just the center of the head resting. Maybe let the head drape over towards the left. Take a nice big breath in and let it go. Slowly unravel bottom leg, top leg, coming back into that just gentle, easy twist. And then find fetal position on your left side, using your left arm like a cushion, right fingertips in front of you. And let that support you as you press yourself back up onto the hands and knees. I'm going to move to the side so you can see what I'm doing. We'll do a little more compression, working at the backs of the legs. So from the soles of the feet into the backs of our calves, using our own body. So if you don't have any fancy rollers, this is a nice way to create a little bit of stimulation of those tissues. So lean forward onto your hands and knees. Lift your right foot and place the top of your right foot into the arch of your left. And then sit back down. It should feel almost like one of those yoga tune-up balls. Um, you might play around with the placement. So again, it should feel uncomfortable but not painful. And if that's too much, hands come forward on the ground to support you. If it feels pretty okay, you can lift up. So you'll feel that bones of your right top of your foot compressing the arch of your left. And while we do that, we'll let that compression take place. We're going to start to do some self massage of our intercostals. So there's the muscles in between your ribs. They're breathing muscles. You can use your right hand to just kind of find that lower left floating rib. And if you're not really sure where that is, you can watch where I'm pressing, or you can just find the space in between the bones of the ribs. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you're going to start from the left side of your waist and do little circles with your fingertips in that space. And it might feel a bit tender. It might feel like not a whole lot. Okay. And then come back to the left side of your waist and move up to the next space in between the ribs. Ooh, that's a good one for me. If it feels a bit like gristly, like ropey, like you slide off it, that's a good indication that you could spend a little bit more time there. You're doing little circles with your fingertips and just working towards the center until you fall off the ribs there. Let's do one more. So work up a little bit from the side of the waist. Ooh. The side is a really good one, especially if you've been doing a lot of oblique work or side planks. I haven't, so I'm not quite sure why it's tender there, but maybe you'll notice where your tender spots are. Okay, so we've done about 3 in between spaces, 3 intercostals. We're going to lean forward, take that weight off the foot, and take the top of your right ankle and just place it right above that left Achilles. Top of the left foot is down. So we're getting into sort of the lower calf muscles. And again, hands can stay down for support, or if that feels pretty okay, you could sit upright. It's a little bit uncomfortable. That's what we're going for. We're looking to bow our Achilles tendon. And then we'll keep using the right fingertips to massage higher up the ribs. So we're kind of getting a two for run. And we're starting from the left side of the waist and then working in. You might feel a little bit of burning into your calf. That's good. That's a fascial release. If it feels painful, come forward. You can just use one hand to support yourself and use the other to kind of do the little circles between the ribs. And we're working upwards. Oof. Just finding any spots that feel tender. You can linger there. Those little circles from lateral to medial, from outer waist towards the center of the body. Okay. Now, lean forward onto the hands and knees. Take the top of that right ankle. So just above your right ankle, and you're placing it just behind the left knee. So that meaty tissue of the thigh, and then you're rolling back. That one's a bit of a doozy. So if you feel comfortable, you can sit right upright. So very uncomfortable for me. So you might keep your hands down and use that left hand again. Just keep doing some of that intercostal work, moving up higher in between the ribs. Little circles. Mhm. You can kind of come almost right up towards the armpit area. That's good. A lot of lymph nodes in there. So nice to bring some awareness, some circulation, some flow. If the leg feels okay, sitting upright. And this one you don't have to hold as long because you're creating a deep compression. When we release it, there's a nice flow of circulation to the tissues at the back of the leg, even the connective tissue there. Okay. Come forward and just for a moment, sit on your heels or on your bum. Let your hands rest and observe. Observe the breathing through the left side of your rib cage and your chest, your waist, but observe the flow through the back of your left calf and into your left foot. And then we're going to switch sides. So we start with the foot compression. So lifting, bringing the top of your left foot to rest in the arch of your right. And then sitting back should feel a bit uncomfortable, but not too uncomfortable. You might adjust the position of your foot, that nice solid compression. And then we're using the left fingertips to start around that bottom sort of floating rib from the side, little circles in between the rib bones. The muscles there, the tissues there that support our breathing. Ooh. You find a tender spot, you can just spend a little more time there. And just sometimes when we get focused, we're doing two things at once here. The breath gets a bit shallow, so just check in intermittently with your breath. Make sure it's still fluid, still smooth. Working lateral to medial, just little circles in between the ribs. You might be surprised at what you find. So we've done about maybe two or three spaces, and that's okay. And then we'll lean forward, lift up that left foot. So bring just the top of your left ankle just above your right ankle in the back. So that Achilles bow, and then sitting back. So it should kind of push on the Achilles tendon and slide it a bit to the side just with the weight of your body. Should feel a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit burny. One hand can come down, or you can sit upright. And we're just continuing to work in between the ribs with the left fingertips there, moving up. Steady breath. It's nice to take this time to work into these smaller spaces, sometimes these little areas that are kind of overlooked, and to just observe how paying attention to some of these smaller areas can shift how we feel in our whole body. Notice if you're gripping anywhere as a result of what you're feeling in your right lower calf. Can you relax shoulders and jaw? Okay. And then we're going to lean forward again. This is the last of this sequence for the calf. So that left ankle slides just behind, below that right knee. So you're kind of bowing the tissues of the calf, the gastrocnemius and the deeper soleus muscle. Wow. And that one for me is really intense. So I'm going to stay leaning forward. But if you're okay to sit up, go for it. One's not better. You're just finding that perfect amount of resistance where you can breathe and relax into it. I'm still using my left hand to make those little circles in between my ribs, working from the right outer side of the rib cage, lateral side towards the center. And you can even get right up underneath the armpit there. Again, burning is not a bad thing. Slow burn is kind of that slow release of those connective tissues. It's quite common to feel when you release the fascia. Sharp or shooty pain, kind of want to ease away from that. Okay, so come out of that. Find a comfortable seat and just pause. Again, observing whatever you feel through right posterior leg, as well as how you're breathing in the right side of your ribs. And from here, we'll set up to face the long edge of your mat. Slide the sole of your right foot to the inner left thigh for half dragonfly. And using your left forearm, we're going to create a little bit of self massage of our quads. So just leaning towards that left leg and roll, almost like it's a rolling pin. And just leaning the weight in. And you can kind of keep it more linear. I like to bring it almost into a circular motion. So my right hand just resting on my right thigh and circling forward. And as I circle to the right, I'm rolling my left forearm. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you're kind of slowly moving that forearm up and down the leg. If you've been doing a lot of sitting, quads might be quite tense. And you work around the quads. So we have 5, but we still kind of call them quads. But there's sort of more the inner line, the top line, and the lateral line. And you might notice for yourself that there's more tenderness on the outside of the top of that left thigh. So you can kind of focus your awareness there, or maybe towards the center. If you find a spot that's really tricky, you might just hang out there, do little circles. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, and then pause there. Slide the hand down the inside of that left leg. Take a breath and reach the right arm up. And then lean towards that left side. And this can be pretty active, or I like to take a more passive. I like to let the arm just drape over my head, lean my chest back, a few deep breaths into right outer hip, low back. Nice way to get into your QL, your quadratus lumboris, one of those stability muscles for the pelvis and the lumbar spine. We use a lot in poses like triangle. Okay. Take a breath in, reach the right arm up, and then exhale, come back to center. Nice. Switch sides. Left foot to right thigh, extend the leg out. And then you're just leaning your right forearm onto your right quads, starting to do kind of circles like a rolling pin. And you can get your whole spine involved, making circles with the whole spine, or you can kind of just lean and work up and down. Just exploring your quads, exploring your body. You might notice more tension in one area. You can focus there. And pause, come back up to center, slide the right arm along the inner right leg, left arm to the sky, big breath in, and then invite a side bend in. Just let it work for you, active or passive. Lean the chest back. A few deep breaths there. The left arm, re-extend it as you exhale. Come back up to center. Okay, from here, slide the legs together. Find your yoga block or your rolled up towel. And we'll find a wide knees child's pose. And placing that little rolled up towel or the yoga block, lining it up, the edge that's closest to you with your brow line. Can be, I like the middle level, but if you prefer the lower level, you could take that. And the arms can rest just softly by your sides and front, creating a little bit of a break so you feel supported. Relax your jaw. And just start to gently roll your forehead from side to side. It creates a little massage of the frontal muscles of the face, the frontal bone. And just like we work the back of the head, if you find that there's some area that feels a little bit tense or tight, you might just linger there. Sometimes I like to just hang out right in center, almost like I'm letting the frontal bone lift off my cheekbones, creating a little traction around the bridge of the nose, which can help with the sinuses draining. A little compression right in between the eyebrows, that third eye point. And physically, deep to this area that we're compressing is the pineal gland, which is connected to our sleep and wake cycles, or even how much energy we have throughout the day. So here's a good point to check in with your energy and invite in the quality of energy you'd like, maybe for the day that lays ahead, or maybe for your sleep. And coming back to noticing your breath. And letting every exhale melt you a little heavier towards the earth. And letting the inhales fill up whatever areas could use that space. And gently untuck your block. Come into a regular child's pose. Hmm. Okay. Walk the hands in towards the knees. Bring the knees together and set up for either Shavasana or legs up the wall. If you're close to a wall, that can be really nice just to invite a lot of circulation back into the hip socket. Mm. And while this is the end of our practice here together, um, feel free to take a little extra time if you have it today. Closing off your practice in Shavasana. Give yourself a good 5 minutes or more if you have it, or legs up the wall, or something restorative for you. Thank you for joining me. Hope you feel a bit more invigorated, a bit more spacious. Namaste.